What job exists because we are stupid? Met a guy once, his job was putting dirt on potatoes. Somebody along the supply chain washed them pretty well by the time they got to the grocery. People didn't trust the clean potatoes. So one guy had to put dirt back on them to make them more authentic. On crowded nights, Disney Springs has employees working at crosswalks at the intersections from the overflow parking lots to tell people when they can cross. They're normal intersections that have lights telling you when you can cross. People just don't acknowledge them and will try to run across oncoming traffic. I'm a self-serve gas station attendant. Honestly, the only reason I'm here is to slap the emergency stop button if someone starts pumping gas outside their car/gas can. Oh, and shut off the pumps when I leave. I have a side gig doing data entry. I earn $25 USD/HR copying and pasting stuff from a web page into an Excel spreadsheet, while doing some light formatting. Tier 1 IT support. Did you try turning it off and on again? Sure you did. Could you blow into the cable to make sure there is no dust in the connect? Oh, the cable was loose? How surprising. Have a good day. Traffic police in Baltimore. I was there this summer and the gridlock was atrocious. People push their way into the intersection. The light turns red, and they are stuck there until the light is about to turn red in the opposite direction. At which point those people push their way into the intersection and the cycle perpetuates. During rush hour, they have police standing in the intersections not to direct traffic, though, simply to hold their hand up when the light turns red so that people don't push their way into the intersection. Basically, a human has to stand in traffic for hours just to tell the drivers what the lights mean. It was unbelievable. At my university we have a person whose job is to stand by the garbage area and make sure people dispose of their trash appropriately. Safety manager here. A big portion of my job is saying stuff like, please don't smoke near this flammable liquid, or other things most of us take for granted that people already know. I work in an aquarium and we have what I can best describe as floor guides, which are just staff that interact with people and share interesting info about the exhibits. Realistically, while that is part of the job, the main reason for these people being out there is to tell people to keep their hands out of the stingray and turtle tanks, because for some reason beyond my comprehension people don't naturally get this concept. At least once a day I hear, well, why can't I touch the stingrays? And so far my all-time favorite outcome of that question was a kid who said they have the word sting in their name. I have wanted to say that so many times, but am unable. It's service help desk. My job exists because of stupid, and let me give you a pro tip about computers. Computers don't break because they don't do what you tell them to. Computers break because they do exactly what you tell them to. Televangelists. I hope I live to see the day people stop giving money to Canaan who buy McMansions and private jets and claim they deserve it because God loves them. Half the responses in this thread are dead wrong. People need help for more reasons than stupidity. Litter pickers. If people used bins instead of throwing rubbish on the floor, they wouldn't be needed. In Great Murica there was / is a whole campaign where designers, marketers, PR staff, mascots and whatnot were organized to create a bear with a hat, to teach people not to set fire to forests. Classroom support. I'm specifically thinking about my current engineering classes, where an electrical engineering professor preaches problem-solving skills above all, until he is confounded by a projector. Attorney. 90% of our work is spent on 10% of our clients. Then they blame us for getting in trouble after doing what we told them not to do. Basically, stupid people keep us employed. Those parking guides at the Disney World parking lot. It takes a team of 10 people just to make sure we all park correctly. An activity we all do multiple times a day. Computer repair. For the most part, probably half of all the things I had to repair were extremely silly mistakes that could have been avoided by simply reading. Whenever people get an error message, they panic and click it away. Most don't even read it. When reading it could already help you fix it. I remember one guy who said he didn't want to pay us to put a SIM card in his phone. I completely understand this, because it's overpriced as hell. But we still told him to make sure to take the nano SIM out of the holder it came in order for it to fit in his phone. 10 minutes later, he came back because he ruined his phone trying to forcefully push the SIM card and the holder into the socket of his phone. If you really think about it, probably like 50% of the workforce. I'm an engineer, and most of my day is spent fixing mistakes, designing things so they work even if the operator is a monkey, and doing things for other people because they can't figure out how. I work in a pool supplies store. My job is mostly to babysit people from the moment they enter the store until they leave, because nobody ever knows anything about how to take care of their pool or what kind of equipment they have. My job is like if there was a guy at the grocery store who would meet you and ask you what you need, and you'd tell him I dunno. It's a vegetable, and then he'd say okay. What kind of vegetable? And then you'd say I dunno. It's round. And he'd ask what color is it? And you'd say I'm not sure. Gray? Green? Brown? And after going through all the potential vegetables that could be, it would turn out that you meant a watermelon. And he'd go get the watermelon for you because you can't be trusted to grab a watermelon instead of a pumpkin. Could you argue law enforcement? Since people can't behave, a large portion of stupid people waste police officers' time with petty things. Here in Brazil exists the frentista, in which is a guy that used the gas pump to fill your tank when you're at the gas station. You read right. People here are paid the minimum wage to do a thing that anyone in the US can do. Editors. Because sometimes people put a space between a word and a punctuation mark. You're making this too easy. Op. IT. You guys have no clue how much we get paid for the really low effort of work we do. Literally, our job is Googling 90% of the time. And that's only when the problem gets rough. Almost everything else is supposedly common knowledge. A lot of people seem to be confusing didn't take years of training or experience to do my job with stupid. Just because I'm not an expert on the nuances of a particular job doesn't mean you're paid to do it because I'm stupid. It means you're paid to do it because it's not worth my time to learn. I feel like most police/fire calls are for dumb stuff. Not saying we'd need to get rid of them, but we could make their jobs way easier. Help desk? Because in this day and age, there are still people that don't understand UPC needs to be plugged in every so often to charge. I'm totally not salty at the lady that called me today. We have security guards at my job to basically keep the building safe and merchandise from being stolen. They are great, but part of their job is so ridiculous. I honestly feel so bad for them because they hate being zoned for this part. We have a lower floor with restrooms and our staff door clearly marked staff only. It also auto locks unless you badge. Guards have to be there 24/7 to guide people straight down the only hallway, and then help them figure out which restroom to use because apparently it's so difficult to read the signs pointing toward the restrooms and to look at the sign and determine the gender of each bathroom. We also have a non-gender/family bathroom, but it's clearly marked aside from the men and women restrooms, all the way down and to your left. No straight down. No, that's staff only. No. The left. Men's in on the left. There you go. All day. Every day. Most skills and services exist because of the knowledge gap. Basically what they know and what you don't is valuable. Took time, study, materials, resources to learn and do. For a certain percentage of calls, firefighters. Sure, accidents happen out of people's control, or people get genuinely sick. But sometimes they go to a call that is just a direct result of someone's stupidity. You know the guy that guides you onto the conveyor at the automatic car wash? That can be completely automated, but people can't aim their cars or put them in neutral. When I was stationed in Japan with the Navy, our squadron had a designated person whose job was to be a spotter every time the duty van was put in reverse. Not for difficult spots, but for every single time it was put in reverse, including but not limited to parking spaces in parking lots. I live in Norway, on the border with Sweden, and every month I go across the border to a huge shopping mall in Sweden to buy groceries, etc. Because everything is a lot cheaper there. As you drive into the shopping mall, there are a couple of roundabouts. And they always have this one employee standing on one of the roundabouts. I have no idea what his job is. It's always a he, always some spotty teenager with earphones stuck in. Always just standing there wearing his high-vis vest. Not directing traffic. Not counting cars. Not doing anything. Just standing at that one roundabout. Listening to music and wearing a high-vis. Sweden is weird. Y'all. IT help desk / technical support. I firmly believe if people took an extra 30 seconds to read the error message pop up or even just look it up via their favorite flavor of search engine, they could solve 50% of their own problems. I mean no disrespect at all when I say this, but soldiers. Again. I really admire those who put their lives on the line for protecting others, but we only need soldiers because we're too stupid to maintain peace amongst ourselves. Lollipop Man. Doesn't advertising basically exist to convince people they need stuff they previously didn't even know existed? Health insurance salesman. At least in the U.S. For the love of God. All other civilized countries provide for their citizens health care. Why can't the wealthiest country in the world do this? Oh yeah. We need to waste taxpayer money on Space Force. Car manufacturers gather all the goods to produce a car. Make a car. Transport the car to the destination it will be picked up by the consumer. Determine a reasonable cost for the car. Create advertisements for a car. Test the car's efficiency / safety. Provide software updates for a car. But we must buy from a dealer. A middleman whose sole purpose is to charge us more money for little to no reason. If we're not stupid for allowing this to go on, then I don't know what.